install an electric meter in your house. Maybe you have a roommate, or maybe you have an RV or motorhome or something like that, and you want to know how much they is spent on power. I'm going to teach you step by step how you can do it, so that way you can pay whatever is right, and they can pay whatever is right as well. You can see we're going to install this electric box. We're going to put it just next to it, so that way we're going to be able to measure the power consumption of one circuit. Now we are going to grab the plastic box and we're going to put it on the plywood that we have on the wall, so that way we can mount everything. In this case, I'm using 2 drywall screws. That will be plenty enough just to keep it in place, so you can put it just on the bottom or maybe on top, anywhere. So I think in my case the best way will be to put it just on the top. Very easy. Put one screw and then put the other one, and that's it. So in this case we are using this plastic box. It seems like this electric meter is made for Europe or Latin America, because they have this type of system. I think they call it like tin or something like that. It's not like an American thing. Otherwise they could maybe have done something that we can just install with a breaker. So maybe a breaker with the electric meter all built in one. That would be a nice idea. Otherwise, do this and you will be okay. So make sure that you're going to have all the tools. Now we are going to try to remove the faceplate of the cover of the electric panel, so that way we can connect the breaker to this new electric meter. So just in this case, like I said before, because this is an American electric panel, I like them a lot better than the one that they use in Europe or South America. So in this case, you will have to remove the 6 screws. And you have some electric panels, they have the option, they have the a hook on the top, and other ones they have them on the bottom. In this case, it doesn't have any of those hooks, so you have to hold it, with your arm, so that way you can release the cover, without dropping it to the floor. Like I said before, because this is an American panel, you have everything is very well organized. You have all the breakers, you have a power bus, 2 power bus on the top, so make sure that you don't put your fingers, otherwise you're going to die electrocuted. Otherwise, call a certified electrician or someone who can do this job. So in this case, I just unhook the hot one, or the live is the one that goes into the breaker, and the other one, the white one, is the neutral. So black is live or hot, and the white is neutral. And then we have the bare metal, the copper one is the one that is going to be ground. So put them on the side, and then you can do the same thing with the other one later. And like I said before, usually you have a metal plate that you have to use with the European breakers. They have it in any other way, so that is why I have to put the box on the side. So that is the main difference here. I'm going to unscrew the clamp that goes, or the connector that goes on the top, so that way I can release the cable and I can unhook it, and put it in the other electric panel. So that is how it's going to work here. All right, now be very careful when you do this. Just try to put them all together, and when you put them from the top, make sure that none of those ends is going to touch, the live connectors that you have just in the middle. So do that and you will be okay. And after that, we're going to make some one hole in the bottom of the new box, so that way we can run the cables through that. All right, as you can see, I'm going to make a hole here. I'm going to use the step drill bit, so that way we can put the connector to hold the cables in place. Then we're going to put the power meter over there. Now let's grab the impact driver, and with the step drill bit we're going to make the hole. So basically you can try like trial and error until you get the size, the diameter that you need. Otherwise you can use hole saw. So with the hole saw you can make the hole just exactly the diameter that you want, and that's it. With this is what I had handy, and sometimes I use that instead of using the right tool. But if you want to use that, that will be the idea. If you're outside of United States, you want me to send you some tool, just contact me. All the information is in the video description. Otherwise, if you're here in US, I'll leave you the link so you can buy yourself. So now let's keep trying a little bit more to make it a little bit bigger, and now we should be good. And after that we are going to hold the clamp, so that way we can hold the cable in place and nothing is going to move. The same thing, you have to have everything in this box and in the other box as well, so that way the cable will be firm and tight, and even if you have a kid or someone trying to pull the cable, it will not get unplugged. That is why it's not just making just the hole by itself. You have to have the connector, so that way it will keep it in place and secure. Here I'm going to screw it in. So in the beginning you will see that it seems like I'm struggling a little bit, but I prefer to leave the holes as tight as possible. Maybe I can screw it into the plastic, and then after that I can put the nut in the other side, and that way I can keep it in good shape, and it will be tight enough. So after that you can use the screwdriver to tighten the screws on the bottom once you have passed the cable through it, and that's it. So in this case, as you can see, the edge is very close to the connector, so that is why it's a little bit difficult to put it in, but I think it will be okay, and with a little bit of strength and tinkering, I will be able to put it in the right place. As you can see, this is the electric meter, so all we have to do is just to run the cable, the hot one and the neutral, or the other hot one here, and then we have to purse the cables in both ends with that. So basically we're using this screw that you see here, and the other one. The one in the middle is for something else, but don't put power here, otherwise you're going to damage it. So now after that we're going to mount it here, and then after that we're going to put it there. All right, as you can see, I put the electric meter here. So we have these the splicers. So basically what you have to do is put this inside of that, the same thing here, and then as you can see we are going to squeeze the cable here over there, and that's it. So basically you are going to put the input, the power here, and here you're going to put the load, and we should be good. So the thing I don't like about this is this box is too small. I'll try to replace it later for something a little bit bigger, but at least the idea remains and you know how to do it. All right, the reason I'm going to be using these thick cables that you see here is so that way it will fit just perfectly, and it will not be moving around, and we are going to have like perfect contact. Also, I'm going to be using the splicers, so that will be my connector between the thick cable and the slim cable that we are using gauge 12, and the thick cable that you see inside, that is gauge 6. So here, as you can see, this is the transition device, the splicer, but splicer, how they call it. If you can put inside the electric degrees, so that way you can avoid oxidation. Also, if you can put some WD-40, so that way it will be easier for you to remove the bit if they are getting stuck. Now we're going to bend it and we're going to try to put it inside. And we're going to put the load. As you can see, we're going to put it in the on the bottom, and the line is going to go to the top. It depends on the electric meter that you have, so that is how it's going to work. So in this case, I'm going to strip it a little bit more, so that way I can bend it and I will have more surface contact in the inside of the splicer. So you can do that with both ends and it will work just fine. So we're going to bend the cable so we have a little bit more point of contact or surface, which should be good. Here is the live or the hot one. Here is the neutral. Here you can use some length wrench, but I prefer to use the impact driver, faster, and you know that it's going to be very tight, just fine. All right, there we have enough cable, and then we should be good over here. All right, as you can see, we're going to be removing the sheeting here. With these pliers, it works great. I mean, you just press it a little bit, and then you can just pull, and that's it. It's very, very easy. And you're not going to be damaging the cables or anything like that. So if you want tools, just let me know. I'll send it to you any part of the world, or you can buy it in the link that I'm going to leave in the video description. So you put them over there, inside, and then we're going to turn them like a U-turn or U shape or something like that after we strip them up. All right, now as you can see, with this it's very easy to strip the cables. I like these clean tools. Now with the end, you can just make a U-turn, a U shape, and then we can connect it to the electric meter. Make sure that it's black with black, white with white, and that's it. So it will say where you have to connect it. So here, by using the impact driver, like I said before, it will help you to make sure that everything is very, very tight. You don't want it to come loose or anything like that. If it comes loose, you're going to have the issue that it will overheat, it will melt, or something bad is going to happen. But if you keep all the connections tight, you should not have any issue like that. Now I'm using electric tape here because I thought it was going to be fast, but it was a mistake. So shrinking tubes is the way to go. So if you want to use shrinking tube, you put it, just heat it up, and that's it. And you don't have to, go around and around of the cable with electric tape many, many times. Now we want to connect the ground on the ground bar, and then the neutral in the neutral bar, because this is a sub panel. If you have, if this was a main panel, yes, you can put the ground and the neutral in the same bar, but this is different. So the way you know. And the other one is going to go to the breaker. That is the hot one, so that is easy. It doesn't matter if it's sub panel, main panel. Always goes to the same place. Make sure that you have no power, so that way you don't get electrocuted, you don't die, or anything like that. Yeah, it works. All right, now everything is working. So always I recommend, before putting everything the way you should, make sure that you can test everything. So that way you don't have to do the job twice. Now you can turn off the breaker, and then now you can start putting everything the way it should be. But before doing that, we're going to put some shrinking tubes. Now we're going to use the shrink tubes. It's easier than using the electric tape. Electric tape, you can do it, but I think this is faster. It's going to be safer as well. Okay, now shrink tube times. So now, as you can see, we're going to unscrew them. So this is the heat gun that I'm going to use. I like it. I try another brands, all are kind of the same. I mean, same heating temperatures, same performance and everything. So you can buy the cheapest one. This is the Ryobi. It works great. I never had any issue with that. Or you can buy maybe Milwaukee or any other brand, but all of them are kind of the same. There is no different. The only one that is different, that they don't make it anymore, is Rigid. It was kind of the same size with a small propane tank, and yes, that was amazing. But it's a shame I couldn't get it. So at least for small shops like that is fine. Otherwise, you can maybe use a lighter, but with the lighter, you're going to have the issue that you're going to have, the smoke or the fumes, and that's it. Going into this, because you're going to have the black, I don't know, dust powder or something like that with the lighter, and usually with the electric, you're not going to have any of that. So we're going to put these. The shrinking tube is very big one. So in this case, what I did, I was going to cut it, but I wasn't able to use the other piece. So if I cut it, I was going to have maybe like an inch or something like that. So I decided to use it all. So I think that is your best bet. So if you buy that, that would be great. And what I was saying about with the gas, if you have one of those torches or something like that, it may work as well. Make sure that it will not damage it. And that's it. So basically, it's repeating the same process 4 times, and then put it back inside, and that's it. So in Europe, you have these type of breakers, that they goes into the piece of metal on the back, and it's more complicated doing all those connections. But here in America, things are different. I like the American way, the best. Uh, so otherwise, they should make something that you can maybe fit just inside of the regular American electric panel that you see here, and that's it. So the reason I'm using all these adapters is because I'm using this small, is just for one circuit. Otherwise, if you use it just for the whole panel and you are using gauge 6, like I mentioned before, you don't have to go through all these adapters and anything like that. It will be, through, I mean, from the electric for the power meter to this, and from here directly to the electric panel, and that's it. But it depends. If you're using, 100 amps, it might be good. If you're using 200 amps, you will have to have another type of electric meter that is going to be adequate for that. So here, all you have to do now is try to make the cable fit, and then you have to twist and connect the ground and make it inside, or you can put maybe a small walnut inside to keep it together. But I think if by twisting them, it will be more than adequate. And after that, we can just adjust the clamps, and that's it. All right, as you can see, we are done. Everything is working. Now we can adjust the clamp on the bottom, and that's it. You can close it, and that's it. So tighten it up, and make sure that you have all the sheeting that goes inside of the box. In this case, like I said, it's a temporal thing. Otherwise, I will not leave it like that. Surely in the future, I will remove it and then I'll put it the way it was. But it depends on you. Now just tuck in the cables inside, and then we can put the cover. As you can see, everything is working. So now this you cannot reset it. So basically, every month you have to start checking the power consumption, and that's it. So that way you can do the math. So basically, like I said, it doesn't look pretty. I don't like it. This I would put something a little bit bigger, maybe double of the size. But if you don't care, at least this is a temporal thing that I'm doing. Later, I'm going to remove this and put it the way it was. But if you have to do something like that because you're sharing a room, or maybe an apartment or house or something like that, you want to measure your power, you can. This is the best way to do it. So basically, this is where you're going to connect the hot one. So the neutral goes here and the ground goes here, because this is a sub panel. The ground and the neutral goes separated. Otherwise, if it was the main panel, you can put the ground and the neutral all in the same electric bar. Something that you have to keep in mind when you're leaving the connections inside, leave it 1 inch here, another inch here. This it should be shorter, and leave it here. But like I said, this is a temporal thing, so maybe later I will remove it. But if you want to know, that is how it should be done. Here it should be, clean. It should be tight here, so that way it will not move anywhere. I left it working all night, as you can see, and it's working very good. So as you can see, I have a 15.94 kilowatt hour. So you have to multiply by the cost. So in my case, it's like 22 cents. So that way it's going to be around $3. It's going to be about $3 of power consumption. So that is how it works.